Hello. You are on Radio Kasami Web, the Sunday channel suitable for you. I want to keep you company for 30 minutes. Using YouTube after 15 minutes, use the second link to continue. If your friend does not have internet and wants to follow us, we call him during the live broadcast if you provide us with the number. Help us to grow our listeners. Today's episode, Sunday, June 24th, 2018, is the number 288. It's 7 years now since we started March 12th, 2011. And it's been 3 years since in English. Of course not every Sunday for various reasons, both technical and personal. And today, Nativity of Street. John the Baptist, the icon, the image you find on our social Facebook channel, is this. The hand of the Lord was with him. Now, launch the initials while Salvatore is ready to start. We'll talk later. Really, the hand of the Lord was with him. With John, we will understand a friend why later, but in a nutshell, to lead John in the desert to prepare the way of the Lord, to open the door to God's entry into the world. For that desert where Giovanni he preached comes the salvation that comes from Jesus, God himself made man. But why then we care so much what happened to Giovanni? We should also reproduce his experience. Which? That of indicating Jesus present in the world, in the desert of our cities. We are not the ones who save the world, but we can show the world where to find salvation. To show that is that the grace of God becomes a person in Jesus Christ. We never stop believing him, trusting him who loves us. Let him be the one to choose what destiny our choices must have. Otherwise, unfortunately, it happens as in many families where one lives without understanding oneself, without accepting oneself and sincerely loving oneself, from whom the children, who are suffering from the limitations taxes, flee to venture into a life of individuals who often resolves into a free coexistence, without any moral bond. So we live with the joy of those who can see the good in everyday life and know how to do it around us. Then let us listen to the Gospel of Luke chapter 1 verses 57 to 66 and t. 1080. John is his name. When the time arrived for Elizabeth to have her child, she gave birth to a son. Her neighbors and relatives heard that the Lord had shown his great mercy toward her, and they rejoiced with her. When they came on the 8th day to circumcise the child, they were going to call him Zechariah after his father, but his mother said in reply, "No. He will be called John." But they answered her, "There is no one among your relatives who has this name." So they made signs, asking his father what he wished him to be called. He asked for a tablet and wrote, "John is his name," and all were amazed. Immediately his mouth was opened, his tongue freed, and he spoke, blessing God. Then fear came upon all the neighbors, and all these matters were discussed throughout the hill country of Judea. All who heard these things took them to heart, saying, "What then will this child be? For surely the hand of the Lord was with him." The child grew and became strong in spirit, and he was in the desert until the day of his manifestation to Israel. The Gospel considers the moment when Zechariah mute and Elizabeth lead the child to circumcise. The name had to choose his father, who considered in the choice the name of one of his family. Elizabeth interrupts this custom and says no, it will be called John, as he wanted the angel. And finally Zechariah, after 9 months of mutism, obeys God, cuts what people say to adhere to the will of God. How many talks are made and that we believe important, these continuous electoral campaigns in which one says the exact opposite other. And we are influenced by what they say. We also ask ourselves whether we must say or not say certain things. Who we really are inside. It is said that nobody is so poor that he cannot give what he has. I correct, and no one is so poor that he cannot give what he is. Often, in the life of faith, the coming of Christ is prepared by someone significant in our life. A priest, a parent, a friend. Like that consecrated person who consumes days and health to give hope to the desperate. Or like that young man who dedicates the afternoon to keep the boys and to educate them to live, or like the couple who widen the home to foster one baby hurt inside. People who, in the limits, know how to transmit the presence of God. We are all called to become signs where we live, to be at least a little transparency of God. if I move away from your plan of love because closed in myself. It stimulates in me the anxiety to create a communion with every creature that you make me meet. Friends will discover your face if I will be your transparency. Yes, friends, and it is not enough to say to love God, which is not seen, if you cannot live authentically towards of human persons who instead are seen, and how. Our belief must be in harmony with our saying and to do, or vice versa. Our moral choices and actions must reflect the spiritual convictions that are in us. God has no hands but our hands, not even voice, feet, ears, eyes and heart, if not ours. As daring as it may seem, if we do not collaborate with God in shaping His design, He is found hands tied. Our vocation consists in becoming human, in showing through intentions, facts and practices words that are created in divine image and likeness. We try to do good. And the Queen of Peace also says so. Today we are waiting for her message, and I remember that he is 37 years old. However, the 22nd of June 22 she appeared to Ivan from Medjugorje saying, "Dear children, also today I call you to peace. Decide for peace, decide for Jesus. He is your peace, set out with Him. Be my apostles of peace. So pray and do not get tired in prayer. You are welcome for all of you, and for all of you, I intercede with my Son. Thank you, dear children, for perseverance. Because you do the good and because together with you I realize my plans through my coming here." I counted my years. Well, I have less time to live from here.